Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Gaming It Out. You can call me Gigs, and today I'm going to show you 3 more mods that I think are just fantastic for this game that are almost crucial if you're going to be doing big building projects. But even if you just wanted to use them in their world, in your regular world, I don't think these take away from immersion too much either. Now, in another video, I go over 3 other mods that I think are also excellent. And in that video, we go over how to actually install them step by step. So if you're unsure of how to do that, I'm going to card to that video in the top left now. Go over there and check that one out. Those are 3 mods I also recommend you should check out. And then again, step-by-step instructions on how to install them. And then you can come back here and check these mods out. So I'm going to showcase them a little bit. And then there's a little bit more of instruction I want to give on one of these mods at the end of this video. So the first one is no stamina cost when you're using tools. So things like your hammer. I think actually maybe just the hammer. Yeah, it's just the hammer. No stamina cost when you're building, and perhaps the hoe. But I don't know about y'all, but I get kind of tired of running out of stamina when I'm working with my crops or placing building pieces. There's an argument to be made that it makes sense, but I just want to build, you know what I mean? So especially if you're in a creative project where you're just going to be spawning in the materials you need and doing something like I'm doing in this world here, which if this interests you at all, I will be doing a video on this at some point when I finish this build. It's probably going to take me a while to get everything that I have in my mind in place here, but that's something for a later video. But no stamina costs when building or when your hammer's out. It's also nice too, in conjunction with the second mod, which allows you to use your equipment in water. So if we jump in the water really quick, you can see I've still got my hammer out. I'm still able to build. I can bring my pickaxe out and you know, chip away at the ground in water. It's very, very nice for things like this where I want to have this dock come up into my base like this. If I wanted to swim out and build a dock out off, like on top of the water, it's easy to get out and raise the ground and do all the things that you'll need to do in the water. And in conjunction with the no stamina cost, you'll see I'm swimming around right now and I'm losing stamina. If I bring out my hammer, I stop losing stamina when I'm swimming. So this can be really nice too, because as we've talked about before, the game really punishes you for swimming. And if you're just trying to build, sometimes that can be pretty aggravating. So obviously this could be a way that you could kind of start to use some cheese if you're in your regular world doing your regular things. But honestly, I see no harm in it, especially for the big building projects. And it's just been so necessary. It has made this so much easier, getting all of this set up and straight and pretty. And you know, in another world, I'm building a dock, and it's been great to be able to swim out and raise the ground up. So very nice mod, particularly for creative projects. And then the last one is crafting station range. And basically what it does by default is gives you infinite range on a crafting station. So this circle's small, and we're going to talk about why in a second. But if I bring out my stone, you'll see there's a circle there. And that's because I have it all set to default settings except for the workbench, because again, I want to talk about that. When I go in and show you how to edit the file, to change the range of your crafting station, we're going to talk about some of the details here and why you would want to do this in conjunction with some other mods. But basically, this would make it so that for projects like this, as long as I've got 1 stone table, 1 forge, and 1 workbench down, I'm good. I don't have to keep placing things so that I can continue to build, which, again, let's face it, gets pretty annoying, especially when you start to get higher up, because the crafting stations make a dome. It's not a cylinder that goes all the way up into the sky. They make a dome. So as you get higher, you're going to get further and further out of the range until you can't build anymore. So you'd have to start building platforms up on your wall to drop benches if you're building a taller piece. And it gets really aggravating. So crafting station range, the mod, it allows you to alter that. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to hop in. I'm going to show you how to get into the configuration file and edit it. And real quick, just make note of the range on our workbench. See how it's a much smaller circle versus the range on our stone cutting table? That's the default range, okay? So we'll talk about that when we're actually in the file and editing it. Okay, so this is again assuming that you are familiar with how to install the mods, you're familiar with that whole process, you've got them in and you're ready to edit them. Again, if you haven't, you can check out the video I carded earlier that will walk you through all of that. So assuming that the mod is installed and you're ready to go, you're going to come into Steam, you're going to go to your library, right-click Valheim, Manage, Browse Local Files. It's going to bring this directory back up, right? This is the folder where we have all of our mods. And then the plugins folder specifically is where you're putting all the .dll files. Again, this is what we've covered. Now, to edit the crafting station range, you're going to go into the config folder, and you're going to find the crafting station range file. And if it asks you what program you want to use to open it, because I know that it did it to me, just pick Notepad. Notepad is perfect for this. So you're going to open crafting station range, and it's going to look like this. It's going to have each station. So you've got your workbench, your forge, your stonecutter, and your cauldron. It's going to have default value 0. And then initially, they're all going to be zeros for you. So everything next to the equal signs for you are going to be 0 if you haven't edited them. 20 is what it actually is in the game by default. That's the real default value. The value that you put next to the equal sign is the range that you want. 0 is infinite, but beyond that, the bigger the number gets, the bigger the circle gets. So again, 20 is what it actually is in the game without a mod. 20 is how big that range is. So leave them all at 0, you'll have infinite range. You can just place one of each bench and be good to go. The reason that you might want to edit this in conjunction with other mods is because if you're playing with other people and you've installed the mod where you can craft from chests that are near you, the way that those mods work together is any chest within the circle of that particular crafting station you have access to. So if you're playing in a world with other people and you have infinite range on your workbenches or your forge or whatever it may be, then you're able to pull from everyone's chest. So you're going to end up using other people's material. So this is where you're going to want to come in and try to find that sweet spot of where all of your chests are in your circle, but not any of your, not anyone else's chests in the game, right? You don't want to be pulling, unless you've all agreed that you are cool with pulling resources from each other. But this is why you would come in and do this. So again, if you just download the mod and install it, and you're by yourself or you don't care about that, you can just not come in and do this at all. This is not necessary. It's only necessary if you need to edit it down to control how big the actual range is, so that you don't take other people's resources if you're using the crafting from chest mod as well. And that's it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put them all at 0. And I left them all at default because I also play in a world with a lot of other people. And again, we don't want to take the resources. So you'll make your edits, you'll save it, Control S, save it. And then now we're going to open up Valheim again, and you'll see that now I can get down to one of each type of crafting station and still be good to go. And we're back in the game to much nicer weather too. So we've got our workbench here, we've got a forge here, we've got a stone cutting table here. I'm going to break everything else that I have. You'll see I've got my hammer out. There's no circle. We can't see a circle for the workbench, and that's because it's infinite. We could not get to a point where we could see the circle, but I can do anything I want, anywhere I want to do it, right? I'm so far away from that workbench, I could swim all the way out into the ocean and still have access to it. So it's just so handy. It's so nice for these bigger build projects. Where you don't have to, I've got a forge up there because I hadn't come in and edited the config file from playing in another world where I needed the range to be limited. So now we can get rid of all these. And that is that. So these are very handy if you're doing creative projects. And even if not, I still think there's a case to be made for them. I don't think they kill immersion too bad. I think it makes sense. The range can kind of be aggravating. So again, use them at your own discretion, whatever you're comfortable with. But I think these are 3 really, really good mods. Shout out to the people making these mods too. People are just killing it with the mods. for these games. Mod communities always blow me away with the things that they get out so quickly and so well done. So big shout out to everybody that's making these mods. And that's it. I hope that this helped you guys. I hope this was interesting for you. I appreciate all the love you guys are showing me in the comments of my videos lately. I really appreciate all the kind words, and it's awesome to know that you guys are enjoying the content and getting something out of it. So we're going to try to keep that going. And that's it. I appreciate you guys. Until next time, have a good one.